So I want to go through some of the gear I've been using on this trip, the Trans-European Trail from Umeå to Finland. It's about, I don't know, I think it ended up being about 1,000 kilometers or so, and I stretched that out over 3 days, 3 nights, 3 camping nights. A lot less days out or camping days than when I'm out hiking, but cover a lot more miles, and it's just as rough on my body, just in a different way. Because it was so warm, I just took off my motorcycle clothes and actually just had these pants on. Now these are actually my favorite hiking pants as well. These are the Klättermusen Jorid, really lightweight material that protects you against the mosquitoes and sun, but very light. They dry within minutes, and you even have so that you can take off turn them into shorts if you need shorts. Just fantastic pants, actually. These have ended up being my favorite all-time pants, actually. They've got 4 front pockets and 2 back, and all of them are really easy access. I actually think there's another, yeah, that's right, 5 front pockets. There's even like one hidden little pocket. Anyway, pants. Now the shoes I'm using, because I usually, when I'm out motorcycling, I usually have my backpack, and I'm hiking a lot as well. And anybody that's tried to hike in motorcycle boots, it's just not a thing. They're awful. And so I was looking for boots that I could use both as hiking, but still give me enough protection where I'm not gonna like lose my foot if I fall off, which does happen if you don't have protection, because they motorcycle boots are built to withstand being crushed. So if you crash on your bike and you get all that weight on there and you don't have proper protected shoes, you can lose your feet because the motorcycle will crush it. And so I wanted to get a pair of boots that I could use both as hiking and that had at least some protection where I wouldn't lose my foot if they got crushed. And I tried a couple other ones, and then I landed on these Klim, I think they're the Outlander GTX. These are Gore-Tex boots. Fantastic boots, very, very comfortable. And I could, I have these on all day, 16-hour days, and then I'm out hiking a bit. Really good grip, and I can stand on the foot pegs for a long time, and it keeps me stable on the pegs. Really good. I don't know if I'd use them like if I was on a purely highly technical off-road trail. I don't know if I would have these. I'd probably want something a little bit higher, but I'm really impressed with these. Normally I don't like boots. I want mesh, but when you're riding your bike, you don't want to bring different pairs of shoes. I just find these really good, especially with that boa. I do like that boa. Show these up close. Klim Outlander. You could actually use these just as regular hiking boots. Just really, really comfortable shoes. Really hot though. My feet cook in them. But it works, and they've been drenched a few days. The first day it just raining for hours, and of course my feet got wet, but they dried out. They were dry the next day, so it wasn't too, nothing to complain about them really. Just great looking, feeling shoes with great motorcycle protection. So that's my shoes. Motorcycle packing, I usually have something called the 21 Brothers Pocket 25. It's a 25 liter, 50 liter pocket saddlebags. I traded those, or I didn't trade them, I still have them. But for this trip I'm using the rackless 80, an 80 liter pack from Mosko Moto. Great pack all around. I do have some minor issues with it if I compare it to the pocket, which, the Mosko Moto is just a different kind of quality on it. These are made by Chinese or Vietnamese with those tiny little fingers and excellent sewing technique. Don't know if it's being made by slaves or not, no idea. But if I compare it to the 21 Brothers that are made in Poland, I mean, there's definitely a different quality, standard quality in the Mosko motor. It's just a much higher quality product. But my biggest issue with the Mosko moto is actually, I'll do a more detailed review of the pack. I don't like how thin and long this is. I really don't like that. I would prefer if these were thicker, wider, and shorter. And it's just like, you know, because I design and make backpacks. And so when I design a backpack, I prefer to make it like a little thicker instead of longer, because the longer it is, the more off balance you get. And it's the same thing on the pack. Because when I put this in my bag, they sell these as 25 liter packs, and I couldn't get 25 liters of stuff in it, and so I was a little surprised by that. But then what I found out is that it's 25 liters in the length, and so it means that, like, this is basically where the Mosko moto protection stops, and then your bag just kind of hangs out off the back end, and it really throws the balance off on the bike, and it looks hideous when it's full. So I would have preferred if they would have made this, like, I have a standard measurement that I think every backpack should have as like a minimum, and that's these little packing pods, which I make myself. And the whole point of these is that you put that in there, and then you can have nice organization. You put that in there, and you can have your clothes in one pod, and then I'll have my food in another pod, and I'll have it stacked. And these are waterproof, airtight bags that are extremely robust in themselves, but I have to really mush them to get them in there, because the pack itself, this is so small. And so I would really like it. It's actually a pretty big issue for me that it's that thin, just because it really does stick out the back end of the protection a little too much. And then it has and I'll show that, I'll do a more proper review of the Mosko moto, but it also has like this little connector that goes on the top, but it doesn't really serve a purpose when your bags are positioned at something like this. You know, when your bag is like this, and then you have this little protection, I don't know, it's not a protection, it's just like a little strap that's supposed to hold the roll top, and it doesn't work. It just kind of hangs like up here, because it's built at a diagonal like this, and I would have preferred they had a Y angle on that instead. But so that's really my biggest complaints. Other than that, I mean, obviously it's a great system. Oh yeah, that was another thing, because these stick out so much, I can't have a tail bag. I have to use the Stinger bag. Fine, I paid for it, I might as well use it, but I think that kind of sucks, to be honest. I would prefer that these were more or less the dimension of the Stinger pack, like 2 of those on each side, these little bit thicker bags that you would have on each side, and then it's flat, so that I could have a tail bag as well, any tail bag. I wouldn't just have to use their own. You can't even use like Mosko Moto's own tail bags if you have these full, but just because it just all packed and falling all over the place. So it's like, I think that's a missed opportunity, to be honest. And for the price I paid, you know, as you know yourself, these things cost, I don't know, just $1,000 or something like that for the system. I would have really liked to seen a little better implementation on these ones. Anyway, next, the tent. So this is actually a tent I designed and built myself. It's the Skalmo Mid, and this one I built about 3 years ago with a solid inner tent here, and you pitch it, just 4 tent pegs and a pole in the middle, and you're done. The inner tent goes in and down with the outer tent, so everything's pitched and ready. And I've used it everywhere. I've probably had it for, I don't know, 110, 120 nights over the last 3 years. Me and my dog, me and my kids, just me most of the time. And it's, have it in the spring, you know, summer, winter, fall, always works. I kind of designed it based on the Ultimate 2, the Hyperlight Mountain Gear Ultimate, and the Mountain Laurel designs. It's kind of based on the Hyperlight size, but I don't like how you have to lay lengthwise to the door. At least I do, because I'm so tall. And the Mountain Laurel designs is way too small, the Duo Mid. But I love the pyramid shape, so I just made my own version of it. And it's the perfect tent for me. And it weighs, with this entire setup, it weighs under 1 kilo with the inner, outer, and the tent, the pole. And it's big. You know, you could easily fit 2 people in there in gear. You can see I've got stuff spread out all over the place here. My kitchen set, I've been using this one now since last year. This is definitely my favorite kitchen set. I really like the Caldera cone from the US, the Caldera cone, Trail Designs Caldera cone. But because I sell gear, I was looking for something I could sell as well. And then I found this little one. I think they're in Slovakian. Sorry guys, Vesuv. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But it's a titanium windshield and a 700 milliliter pot and a little burner. And this whole kit weighs about 100 grams complete. And boils just enough water for a couple cups of coffee in the morning, for a cup of coffee and some food in the lunch. So 100 grams, you can put it up in the highest winds and it does just fine. I really like that. The Vesuv titanium windshield and Toke 700 pot kit, 100 grams, real easy. So that's definitely my favorite, and I've been using this for a long time. And I've been using the Caldera cone for nearly a decade, and then this one came and I started using this one, so I really like that. Yeah, I mean, that's just a rundown of kind of the bigger items. The quilt, I used the Gramyak quilt. It's a sleeping bag kinda quilt. It's rated for -6, and it's definitely warm and toasty and light, packs down nice and small. And then I have the Big Agnes Core Deluxe sleeping mat. Pretty good, couple years old, works just fine. Yeah, so that's just a quick rundown of some of the gear I've had with me. Cheers. Yeah, so to not forget here, but if you're coming to Sweden or Finland or Norway or anywhere there's lots of midges and mosquitoes, bring one of these. This is the Thermacell MR300. any of the Thermacell gadgets would work. I just happen to have this one and like it, and it keeps the mosquitoes away. Now, there's a lot of perceived controversy around these. Some people, I say people because the actual studies show that they're not dangerous for nature at all, but there's still like this there's a certain segment of the population that still believes these are highly dangerous. But I think it was something like you'd have to leave a whole bucket of these things out in nature for it to have any kind of effect. And of course, if you're out camping, you always bring your trash with you, and that includes the mosquito pads that these things have. Now, some of them, if you buy the pads, the Chinese versions, then of course they have some kind of a cancer thingy in them, obviously, because that's what you would expect. But the Thermacell's nothing, doesn't have any of those kind of dangerous chemicals in them. So, and I think that the Thermacell, of all the ones that I've actually tried, Thermacell is by far the most effective. And sometimes I just get so comfortable with there not being any mosquitoes that I just start walking around without it, because I forget that, oh, well, maybe there's just no mosquitoes here. And like here, when I came, I was just bombarded with mosquitoes, and I was starting to pull out my head net and everything else, and then I just turned this on and waited for a couple minutes, and poof, they're gone. And I can sit here in this comfortable little chair and enjoy the evening. And these really are incredibly good. So that's my tip. If you're coming to Sweden and you want to really enjoy it, bring one of these bad boys with you. Also, I have this lovely little chair. This is Helinox, lightweight, 500 grams, so it fits nicely in my pack there. Some of the camera gear. On my helmet and my motorcycle, I have the same camera, and that is the Ace Pro. Insta360 Ace Pro. Good camera, can't complain. And then I just have these quick releases, and I have that on my camera as well. And my camera is a Sony. It's just one of these small compact cameras, the Sony the ZV-1, like the compact vlogging camera. It's good. Can't complain. Yeah, so, and I have that on one of these quick releases as well. And then I just have the microphone plugged into it, and I hope that it's recorded my voice today. So, yeah, that should be enough about gear now. Cheers.